Hello learners, I am Dr. Arunima Bora, Assistant Professor in Education from Krishnakanta Hendik State Open University, and welcome you all to the MOOCs course on Rural Development in India. Our today discussions will be on major government programs for rural education in India. So let's start. Education is universally acknowledged as a powerful instrument for social transformation, economic development, and national progress. In a country like India, where nearly two-thirds of the population resides in rural areas and development of rural education is crucial for achieving inclusive growth and social justice. Historically, rural India has faced multiple challenges in education, such as poverty, lack of infrastructure, teacher shortages, gender disparities, social discrimination, and low awareness among parents. Recognizing these challenges, the Government of India has launched several programs and schemes aimed at improving access, equity, quality, and retention in rural education. Over the decades, government interventions have shifted from mere expansion of schooling facilities to a more holistic approach encompassing universal access, nutritional support, financial incentives, gender equity, and social inclusion of disadvantaged communities. The discussion examines the major government programs for rural education under four broad heads. These are number one, universalization of elementary education, number two, nutrition and incentive based schemes, number three, program for girls education, and number four, programs for SC, ST, and minority students. First, let's discuss about universalization of elementary education. Universalization of elementary education refers to ensuring that every child has access to free and compulsory education, remains enrolled, completes elementary schooling, and attains acceptable learning outcomes. India has undertaken several landmark initiatives in these directions. What are the initiatives we should know? Number one, Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, in short SSA. The Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, launched in 2001, was a flagship program aimed at achieving universal elementary education for children in the age group of 6 to 14 years of age. It was designed as a centrally sponsored scheme implemented in partnership with state governments, local bodies, and communities. So, what are the major objectives of Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan? Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, launched in 2001 by Government of India, was a flagship program and aimed at achieving universal elementary education. Its major objectives reflects a comprehensive approach towards ensuring access, equity, and quality in education. First, universal access to schooling. These objectives focused on ensuring that every child between the ages of 6 and 14 had access to a nearby school. SSA emphasized opening new schools in underserved areas, upgrading existing infrastructure, and providing alternative schooling facilities such as education guarantee centers and bridge courses. This helped to bring education closer to the children in rural, remote, and disadvantaged regions, thereby reducing physical barriers to schooling. Then, number two, universal enrollment and retention. Enrollment alone was not sufficient. SSA aimed to ensure that children not only enroll but also remained in school and completed their elementary education. The program addressed factors causing dropout such as poverty, child labor, and lack of parental awareness. Initiatives like free textbooks, uniforms, midday meals, and community participation encouraged parents to send their children to school and ensure their continuous attendance. Number three, the another aim and objective of SSA is bridging gender and social category gaps. SSA placed special emphasis on promoting inclusive education by reducing disparities based on gender, caste, tribe, and economic status. Special interventions were designed for girls, scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, and minority communities. Schemes like Kasturba Gandhi Balika Vidyalaya helped improve girls' access to education, especially in educationally backward areas. These objectives promoted social justice and equal educational opportunities. The another objective is improving the quality of education. Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan or SSA recognized that access and enrollment must be accompanied by quality education. It focused on teacher training, curriculum reform, child-centered pedagogy, and provision of teaching learning materials. Continuous evaluation and monitoring were introduced to improve learning outcomes. The aim was to ensure that children not only attended school but also acquired meaningful knowledge and skills. Overall, SSA played a transformative role in expanding elementary education in India. By addressing access, retention, equity, and quality, it laid the foundation for universal and inclusive education, contributing significantly to national development and social equality. In rural areas, SSA played a transformative role by establishing new primary and upper primary schools, opening education guarantee schemes, centers in remote habitations, and providing alternative and innovative education for out of school children such as migrant laborers and working children. Infrastructure development under SSA included construction of classroom, provisions of drinking water, toilet, and boundary walls facilities that were often absent in rural schools. Teacher recruitment and training formed another important component. SSA emphasized the appointment of teachers from local communities, which helped reduce teacher absenteeism and increase community participation. Academic support structures such as block resource centers and cluster resource centers strengthen classroom practices in rural schools. Despite its achievements, SSA faced challenges related to learning outcomes, teacher quality, and uneven implementation. However, it laid a strong foundation for future educational reform. These are about SSA. Then another important point of discussion is Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan. Launched in 2018, the Samagra Shiksha Abhiyan integrated three major schemes of SSA, Rashtriya Madhyamik Shiksha Abhiyan, and teacher education into a single comprehensive program covering school education from pre-primary to class 12. For rural education, Samagra Shiksha represents a shift from fragmented interventions to a holistic, continuum-based approach. Its objectives include universal access, enrollment and retention, equity and inclusion, quality improvement, digital initiatives, and vocational education. Under this scheme, rural schools receive support for early childhood care and education, strengthening foundational literacy and numeracy. Emphasis is also placed on ICT enabled education, smart classrooms, and digital learning platforms, which aim to bridge the rural urban divide in educational opportunities. Access, enrollment, retention, and quality improvement. Access, enrollment, retention, and quality are the four pillars of universal education. In rural India, physical access to schools has improved significantly due to government interventions. Schools are now available within reasonable distances, even in remote and tribal areas. Enrollment rates at the elementary level have shown remarkable improvement, especially among girls and marginalized communities. However, retention remains a challenge, particularly at the upper primary and secondary level due to economic pressures, child labor, early marriage, and migration, etc. To address quality concerns, government programs focus on curriculum reforms, teacher professional development, continuous and comprehensive evaluation, and student centered pedagogy. Initiatives like learning outcomes frameworks and national achievement surveys aim to monitor and enhance learning levels in rural schools. Nutrition and incentive based schemes. Poverty and hunger are major barriers to education in rural India. To address these issues, the government has implemented several nutrition and incentive based schemes to encourage school participation and reduce dropouts. These are, for example, midday meal scheme. PM Poshan, it's also called. The midday meal scheme, now known as PM Poshan, is one of the world's largest school feeding programs. It aims to provide nutritional support to children studying in government and government aided schools at the elementary level. The PM Poshan, Pradhan Mantri Poshan Shakti Nirman scheme, formerly known as Midday Meal Scheme, plays a vital role in strengthening both the educational and nutritional foundations of children, especially in rural India. The discussion highlights several important objectives and impacts of the scheme, reflecting the significance as a measure social welfare and educational interventions. One of the primary objectives of the scheme is improving the nutritional status of children. Malnutrition is a serious problem among children from economically weaker sections, particularly in rural areas where poverty and food insecurity are common. By providing a cooked, nutritious meal during school hours, PM Poshan helps to ensure that children receive essential nutrients necessary for their physical growth, brain development, and overall health. Proper nutrition enhances children's energy levels, concentration, and cognitive abilities, which directly contribute to improved academic performance. For many children, especially those from poor families, the midday meal may be the most balanced and nutritious meal they receive in a day, making the scheme critical for their well-being. Another important objectives mentioned in the discussion that we should mention here is enhancing enrollment and attendance in schools. The availability of free meals acts as an incentive for parents to send their children to school, particularly in rural and economically disadvantaged communities. Families struggling with poverty often face difficult choices between sending children to school or engaging them into household work or labor. The midday meal reduces this burden by addressing both educational and nutritional needs simultaneously. As a result, the scheme has contributed significantly to increasing school enrollment rates and improving regular attendance. This is especially evident among marginalized groups such as scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, and who historically faced barriers to education. The scheme also plays an important role in reducing classroom hunger. Hunger negatively affects a child's ability to focus, learn, and participate in classroom activities. When children attend school on an empty stomach, they are more likely to feel tired, distracted, and less motivated. By providing meals during school hours, PM Poshan ensures that children are physically comfortable and mentally prepared to engage engage in learning. This improves classroom participation, all attentiveness, and overall educational outcomes. A significant social objectives of the scheme is promoting social equality and integration. In India, social divisions based on caste, class, and community have historically created barriers between groups. The midday meal program encourages children from different social backgrounds to sit together and share the same food. This promotes a sense of equality, mutual respect, and social harmony from an early age. Such experiences help to reduce prejudices and discrimination, contributing to the development of an inclusive and cohesive society. This discussion also acknowledges certain logistical challenges such as food quality, hygiene, and infrastructure. These challenges may affect the effectiveness and perception of the scheme. Poor kitchen facilities, lack of clear water, insufficient monitoring, and irregular food supply can reduce the quality of service delivery. However, despite these limitations, in the scheme continues to remain a cornerstone of rural education because of its wide teaching positive impact on health education and social development. So PM Poshan is not merely a food distribution program but a comprehensive social intervention that supports child nutrition, promotes education, reduces inequality, and strengthens social integration. Its continued implementation and improvement are essential for ensuring the holistic development of children and achieving educational and social equity in rural India. Then free textbooks and uniforms. The provision of free textbooks and uniforms is another important incentive-based intervention. For rural families with limited financial resources, the cost of textbooks and school uniforms often becomes a deterrent to education. By supplying free learning materials, the government reduces the economic burden on parents and ensures that children attend school with dignity and confidence. This initiative has contributed significantly to improved enrollment and reduced dropout rates, particularly at the primary level. Then another steps like scholarships and stipends for rural students. Various scholarship and stipend schemes are available for rural students belonging to economically weaker sections, and these include attendance-based stipend, merit cum means scholarships, special allowances for children with disabilities. Such financial incentives motivate parents to keep their children in school and discourage child labor. At the secondary level, scholarships play a crucial role in enabling rural students to continue education beyond elementary schooling. Then, another the point of discussion is programs for girls' education. Gender disparity has long been a concern in rural education. Sociocultural norms, early marriage, household responsibilities, and safety concerns often limit girls' access to education. To address these issues, the government has launched several targeted programs. Number one, Beti Bachao Beti Padhao. The Beti Bachao Beti Padhao scheme was launched to address the declining child sex ratio and promote girls' education and empowerment. Although it is a multi-sectoral initiative involving health education and women's welfare, education forms a central component. In rural areas, it focuses on creating awareness about the importance of girls' education, improving enrollment and retention of girls, challenging gender stereotypes. Through community mobilization, media campaigns, and local level interventions, the schemes aims to change social or societal attitudes and hinder girls' educational participation. Then, Kasturba Gandhi Balika Vidyalaya. The Kasturba Gandhi Balika Vidyalaya schemes provides residential schools facilities for disadvantaged girls at upper primary and secondary levels. It primarily targets girls from SC, ST, OBC, minority communities and families below the poverty line. These are especially beneficial in rural and remote areas where access to secondary schools is limited. The residential nature of the schools ensures a safe and supportive learning environment, helping girls to continue their education without interruption. Then, National Scheme of Incentive to Girls for Secondary Education. This scheme aimed to encourage girls to continue education at the secondary level by providing financial incentives. Under these schemes, a fixed amount is deposited in the name of the girl child, which can be withdrawn after she completes secondary education and attains adulthood. This scheme addresses economic constraints and acts as a strong deterrent against early marriage and dropout among rural girls. Now let's discuss about programs for SC, ST and minority students. Social exclusion and historical disadvantage have limited educational opportunities for SC, ST and minority communities in rural India. The government has introduced several schemes to promote equity and inclusion. Post-Metric and Pre-Metric Scholarship Scheme. Pre-Metric and Post-Metric Scholarship provided financial assistance to students from SC, ST, OBC and minority communities. These scholarships cover expenses such as tuition fees, maintenance allowance and study materials. In rural areas, these schemes play a crucial role in enabling students to pursue education beyond elementary levels. They help to reduce dropout rates and promote upward social mobility among marginalized communities. Then, Equilibrium Model Residential Schools. The Equilibrium Model Residential Schools are established to provide quality education to tribal children in remote and rural areas. These schools offer free education from upper primary to senior secondary levels, along with boarding and lodging facilities. This aims to bridge the educational gap between tribal and non-tribal populations by providing access to modern education while respecting tribal cultural traditions. They focus on academic excellence, skills development, and holistic growth. Minority education initiatives in India. Education is widely recognized as a fundamental tool for empowerment, social mobility, and national development. However, in a diverse country like India, certain minority communities have historically faced barriers in accessing quality education due to socioeconomic disadvantages, cultural marginalization, and geographic isolation. In response, the government has introduced various minority education initiatives, including scholarship for minority students, infrastructure development for minority institutions, and support for madrasa modernization. These initiatives aim to enhance educational participation in academic achievement among minority students, particularly in rural areas, and contribute to social inclusion and national integration. Scholarship for minority students. One of the most significant initiatives to promote minority education is the provision of scholarships. Financial constraints are one of the primary reasons why students from minority communities, especially in those in rural and economically weaker sections, drop out of schools or are unable to pursue higher education. Scholarships reduce the financial burden on families by covering expenses such as tuition fees, books, uniforms, and living costs. These scholarships are generally provided at different levels, including pre-metric, post-metric, and higher education. By offering financial assistance, the government ensures that minority students can continue their education without interruption. Scholarships also motivate students to perform better academically, as many programs are merit-based and combine merit with means. This helps in improving academic achievement and increasing the representation of minority students in professional and technical fields such as medicine, engineering, and teaching. Furthermore, scholarships contribute to reducing educational inequality. When minority students receive equal educational opportunities, it helps to bridge the gap between minority and majority communities. Over time, this leads to improved employment opportunities, economic stability, and overall social empowerment of minority groups. Infrastructure development of minority institution. Infrastructure plays a crucial role in the quality of education. Many institutions serving minority communities, especially in rural areas, suffer from inadequate facilities such as insufficient classrooms, lack of libraries, poor sanitation, and limited access to technology. Recognizing this issue, the government has taken steps to develop infrastructure in minority educational institutions. Infrastructure development includes constructing new school buildings, improving classrooms, providing laboratories, establishing libraries, and ensuring access to digital resources. Improved infrastructure creates a conducive learning environment that encourages students to attendance and participation. It also enhances the quality of teaching and learning by enabling teachers to use modern educational tools and methods. Better infrastructure also increases the community trust in educational institutions. When parents see that schools are well equipped and safe, they are more likely to send their children, including girls, to school. This is especially important in rural areas where traditional beliefs, lack of facilities often discourage education, particularly for girls. Therefore, infrastructure development not only improves educational quality but also promotes gender equality and social inclusion. Support for madrasa modernization. Madrasas are traditional Islamic educational institutions that primarily focus on religious education. While they play an important role in preserving religious and cultural values, many madrasas historically lacked modern subjects such as science, mathematics, and English. This limited employment opportunities available to madrasa students in the modern job market. To address this issue, the government has introduced madrasa modernization programs. These programs aim to integrate modern subjects into the madrasa curriculum while respecting religious teachings. The initiatives also provide teacher training, educational materials, and infrastructure support to madrasas. That promotion of educational participation and achievement. The combined impact of scholarship, infrastructure development, and madrasa modernization significantly improves educational participation among minority students. Financial support removes economic barriers, improve infrastructure, enhances learning environments, and curriculum modernization ensures relevant and comprehensive education. So, this initiative reduces dropout rates and increase enrollment and retention of minority students in schools and colleges. As more students complete their education, their academic performance and career prospects improve. Educated individuals contribute positively into their families, communities, and nation. Education also empowers individuals with knowledge, critical thinking, skills, and confidence. Minority students who receive quality education are more likely to participate in social, economic, and political activities. So, this leads to greater representation of inclusion in minority communities in national development. And another point here I should mention that contribution to social inclusion and national integration. One of the broader goals of minority education initiative is to promote social inclusion and national integration. Education helps reduce social inequalities and discrimination by providing equal opportunities to all individuals regardless of their religious and cultural background. When minority communities have access to education, they become more integrated into mainstream society. Education promotes mutual understanding, tolerance, and respect among different communities. It helps to break stereotypes and reduces social divisions. National integration is strengthened when all citizens feel included and valued. Educated individuals are more likely to contribute to national progress and participate in democratic processes. Minority education initiatives ensures that no community is left behind the nation's development journey. So, these are all about the discussion, but challenges and the way forward we have to discuss here. Despite this initiative, several challenges remains. Lack of awareness about scholarship programs, bureaucratic delays, and limited access to information often prevent eligible students from benefiting fully. In some rural areas, infrastructure development is slow. Madrasa may lack trained teachers for modern subjects. To overcome these challenges, the government must improve awareness campaigns, simplify application process, and ensure proper implementation of programs. Collaboration with community leaders, non-governmental organizations, and education institutions can enhance the effectiveness of these initiatives. Minority education initiatives such as scholarships, infrastructure development, madrasa modernization play a vital role in promoting educational access and quality among minority communities. These initiatives help to remove financial, infrastructural, and curricular barriers that have historically limited minority participation in education. By enhancing educational participation and achievement, these programs contribute to social inclusion, integration, and continued efforts. Effective implementation and community improvement are essential to ensure that minority education initiatives achieve their full potential and contribute to building an inclusive and equitable society. So, in the concluding part, I'd like to say that the government of India has undertaken a wide range of programs to strengthen rural education and ensures that no child is left behind due to socio-economic or geographical disadvantages. From universalizing elementary education to addressing nutrition, gender disparity, and social exclusion, this initiative reflects a comprehensive and inclusive approach to educational development. While significant progress has been made in terms of access and enrollment, challenges remain in ensuring quality retention and equitable learning outcomes. Effective implementation, community participation, regular monitoring, and adequate resource allocation are essential to maximize the impact of these programs. In conclusion, government programs for rural education have played a vital role in transforming the educational landscape of rural India. With sustained commitment and continuous reforms, these initiatives can contribute significantly to building an educated, empowered, and equitable society. Thank you.